Lesson 7.1 is on the Holocaust of the Jews of Greece. In total, there were 79,000 Jews in Greece, including Rhodes, which only became Greece after the war. Of those 79,000, only 10,000 survived on Greek soil. The first major event which happened was the Albanian campaign, when Italy attacked Greece on October 28, 1940, and Greece didn't surrender. They fought back. In terms of the Jews, about 12,000 Jews were in the Greek army as reservists or in their main military service. About 3,000 Jews were actually combat soldiers, and in the fighting, over 1,000 Jews were injured and 300 Jews were killed. And because of the agreement between Greece and Germany in the surrender, all the soldiers were allowed to go to their homes. So Jews nor the regular public were taken prisoner of war. The Jews fought valiantly. You see the map of Albania and Greece. We have a picture of Colonel Mordechai Frazis, who was one of the architects of pushing Italy back into Albania. He was a colonel, he was the head of an infantry unit, and he died valiantly charging an Italian unit on his white horse, and he was struck from the air and killed on December 5th, 1940. Today there are monuments for Frazis, but it took a long time for him to be recognized, because as a Jew, he couldn't be recognized as a national war hero. So after the Albanian campaign, where there was fighting against the Italians on the Western Front and against the Germans on the Eastern Front, in the areas of what's called Macedonia and Thrace. So the Germans gave Bulgaria a certain occupation zone, which you'll see in the map in green, and Bulgaria didn't shoot one bullet, and they were given this occupation zone. So Bulgaria didn't fight with Germany or against any of the other powers to get this asset. So in the map of the occupation zones, the red is the German occupation zone. So you see in Macedonia in the middle, and the north in the middle, and in the far corner, we once talked about that. That was Thrace. Those Jews were deported to Salonika from communities like Didymotiko. Okay, and the blue is the Italian zone, which on September 8th, 1943, fell to the Germans when the Italians surrendered to the Allies in general. You notice that in the south, in Crete, that's part of the red zone. That's part of the German zone. So Crete fell to Germany in the fighting, and at that point there weren't very many Jews in Crete. There were only 200 and some Jews, but that's part of the German zone. You notice, for example, Rhodes, which was an Italian protectorate, it's in the blue. It won't become German until September 1943. When the Germans occupied most of Greece, where they occupied, in other words, the Italians were in charge militarily, but the Germans controlled the economy. So the Germans essentially ignored the Greek population, and there was vast starvation in Athens and in Thessaloniki and Salonika. But it affected the Jews more in Salonika, since the Jews of Salonika were a large population, somewhere about 56,000 Jews. So in the famine in 41-42, there was as many as 60 Jews who died of starvation. So it was pretty dire. And of course, Jewish children died as well as adults. And on the right is a picture of food being given out. But you see that on these pictures, children actually don't look so bad, but they're given food rations. Okay, the Jews were registered for forced labor on July 11th, 1942, and at the same square where the Jews were involved in the Young Turk Revolution for rights and democratic and equal rights in the Ottoman Empire, the Nazis amassed all the Jews to register for forced labor, and they tortured the Jews in the heat of the day on Shabbat and made them do calisthenics. They beat Jews. One Jew was beaten to death, and then the Jews were taken to forced labor. It was too tough. There was typhus. There was grueling road work, etc., for various Nazi industries, and the Jews wanted a relief. The Nazis' plan was to take all the Jews and destroy as much of their culture and heritage as possible. So the Nazis anyway wanted to destroy the big cemetery of the Jews of Salonika, which had been their cemetery since the Spanish expulsion, had about 500,000 graves. And the Jews, to get out of forced labor, wanted to pay a ransom. The Nazis demanded in total 3.5 billion drachmas, which I estimate at the time was maybe worth about $240 million. The Jews actually raised half the money, but the Nazis said, well, we're going to order that we'll release the Jewish men from forced labor, but they ordered the destruction of the Jewish cemetery. The Nazis physically didn't destroy the Jewish cemetery. They ordered Greek Orthodox to come in and destroy it, whatever. So you see pictures of the destroyed cemetery. And the first deportation of Salonican Jewry was on March 15th, 1943. The main deportations continued till July 1943. The lower statistics say 46,000 Jews were deported. In total, there were over 54,000 Jews deported. There were 4,000 Jews also deported to Treblinka. In terms of Auschwitz, we have 50,000 Jews actually arriving, and there was one deportation which left, and we don't know where it came, and the researchers think that they went to Sobibor, because we have episodes of Greek Jewry in Sobibor. Okay, in the Bulgarian zone, where the Bulgarians were very harsh to the Jews, and they sealed off the region to the world, the Jews were deported actually 11 days before the first deportation from Salonika. So, if the Jews were deported from Salonika on the 15th of March 1943, all the Jews in the Bulgarian zone from 9 communities were deported on March 4th. But because those regions didn't have trains, first they were taken to tobacco warehouses, then they were taken by trucks, they were taken into Bulgaria, and they were taken eventually to a port city called Lom and put on boats, sent to Vienna, then from there by train to Treblinka, where they were exterminated. One boat was called the Karageorgi, which didn't make it. The Bulgarians and the Germans sabotaged it on the Danube River, and those were Jews from Kavala and Komotini in Thrace, in Bulgarian zone. These pictures are a little misleading. These are the Bulgarian troops in their zone in Macedonia, in Skopje, organizing the Jews who had come from Monastir. And they're in the monopole tobacco warehouses, and they're going to be sent to Treblinka to extermination. So of that group, in Macedonia, 7,000 Jews were taken to Treblinka and exterminated initially by the arrest and transport by the Bulgarians. And in the Greek zone in Thrace, there were 4,000 Jews from 9 communities deported to Treblinka. This picture here, some say that it was Macedonia, like Kavala. 5 communities claim that it's this community. Some even say it's Monastir in what's now northern Macedonia, the former Yugoslavia, but others say that it was in Yanina. So I have no idea. Many of the cities looked pretty similar in terms of houses, but that picture's used a lot. This picture's relatively new. When the Jews of the southern part of Greece were deported, beginning in March 24th, 1944, which was the eve of Pesach, of Passover Eve, they eventually were interned in Athens, or in Piraeus, in a military camp called Haidari. And only recently there have been groups that have gone there and commemorated it. There are also 500 Jews who were arrested there and put there. Some actually survived and weren't deported, but most of the Jews who arrived there were, of course, deported to Auschwitz-Birkenau. Jews from Thessaly that were deported in the middle of the country, or from Ioannina and Arta, were sent by trucks to Larissa, which is not here, and they were there for a week or 8 days, and then they were deported. So the logistics was a little different depending on the regions. The Jews of Rhodes were deported on July 23rd, 1944. In other words, the men originally were called to report to the Chemenlik former Air Force Base. On the 18th, the women were ordered to come on the 19th. On the 23rd, the Jews were taken by boat to Piraeus, to Haidari, and on the way they picked up the Jews from the island of Kos, where there were a little over 100 Jews, and they also were deported. And that's the story of what happened in Greece with the German deportations.